Folks, welcome to Wani and Metal Nation Radio. With us today, we have Finland's most amazing progressive metal band, AMORPHIS own lead guitarist Esa Holopainen. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Under the Red Cloud, now 12th album in your historic career. How's the band feeling? I mean, album after album, you guys get that sort of, kind of express that journey all together for your fans to cherish. So how's it been so far? How's the feeling in the band?
The feeling is really good and amazing. I think it's exciting times when you are waiting the new album to be released, and we've been done and still doing a lot of promotion for the album. So
Right.
next week is the release date over here. So yeah, really anxious to see how the fans and people will react it. But so far we got really nice reviews and critics.
That's amazing, because I was about to ask that you guys unleashed Death of a King and also Sacrifice. So you guys must have done some research online, try to find out how the fans have perceived it. So how's been the reaction so far?
Very positive, really good. It's it's for us it's really difficult to and pretty impossible to choose any tracks out from the whole album to
Right.
what to present the album. But and usually we leave all these to the record label. We ask, if there's a tracks you want to promote, go ahead. But this time the Jens, our producer, was pretty sure about some tracks what we should present people before the actual release. So
Right.
Death of a King showed, I guess, what the album is about. It's about the dynamics and melodies, the heaviness. It's got again the crawling vocal and the clean vocals, and the
Right.
sacrifice I guess is more typical Amorphis sort of hit
Amorphis.
song. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's a very strong album. Like, kind of reminds me of that Amorphous albums long past. I mean, it's got a feeling like, like, as if I'm listening to Elegy or even Tales from the Thousand Lakes, but still keeping to the more modern Amorphous sound. So, how did you guys try to recapture that feel with this album, or was it, very natural for you?
To be honest, we didn't have any clue how this album will sound.
Okay.
It's the first album we recorded and did with the Jens Bugren, the producer.
Right.
And his methods were very strict. Like when we recorded our stuff, we weren't allowed to listen what we recorded.
Okay.
He just wanted to continue with the editing, and then we continued with the recording, and that's how it went. But he got a really clear picture what he wanted us to sound like, and he said from the beginning that he wants to make the album with us that presents all the things he likes about Amorphis and the things
Right.
what he thinks what Amorphis is about. And but yeah, perhaps too radical to say that we didn't know what we were doing, but sure we did how the songs are. But sound wise, he wanted to push for a lot more for the crawling vocals and for the guitars and for the heaviness,
Right.
and wanted to push a lot for the melodic sides as well. And one funny thing was that he really loves all the Oriental influences we've got, so he really wanted to put those up front.
Right.
And so there is a lot of electric sitar over there, and a lot of different beats, and that creates more these Oriental sound world there, which I think is great.
That's awesome. Jens being like one of those guys. I mean, I've seen him working with creators last album and also some of the best albums he's been part of. His techniques of creating that sound, basically keep it organic, but then again has that flawless production which makes the sound even more enhanced. So how's the experience? I mean, in terms of gelling with him and probably having that to and fro communication as to what to skip and what to actually record.
It was a little bit learning process, and we realized pretty soon that this guy is totally workaholic, and he doesn't let us go very easily.
Right.
And I faced that when we started to book the dates for recording my guitars, and he said to me that, okay, you need to come to Sweden for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to him that you must be joking, because I usually record my guitars in 3 days.
Okay.
And he said that no, that's impossible. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
And I was really like interested to see what are his working methods. Like how the hell can you spend 2 weeks of doing just one guitars?
Right.
But you realize pretty soon that he's very picky with everything, with tuning and with the takes, and you know, sometimes you recorded 1 song a day, sometimes 2, but it is a method what he uses that takes a lot of time. But it's good on the other hand, because he was so much involved with the whole music. He was so in there that you didn't have to stress anything. You just, you know, went to studio and started to play, and that was really, really good thing.
That's awesome. I mean, keeping the title in mind, Under the Red Clouds, it was pretty evident that the lyrics are mostly going to be about dealing with deep topics about nature and about human mind. So how did you guys get to, you know, adapt these things into your lyrics?
I don't know if you know, we have an outside lyricist, a person called Pekka Kainulainen. He's writing our lyrics. This is now, I think it's, if I'm not wrong, it's 5th album he wrote lyrics for us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what he does is that he writes poetry, and all the text he does for AMORPHIS, he's getting up a theme, and then he starts to write poems in Finnish in that, and then they are later translated into English and arranged to our music. But
right.
I didn't know about the lyrical concept until we got the lyrics, and we already had, I think, all the music composed till then.
True.
And but it's about not political, but it's Under the Red Cloud. It really describes a little bit in what kind of world we are living at the moment. It's very unsure. We don't know where we are heading. And Pekka, the lyricist, he believes that we are living in sort of an apocalyptic times, and
right.
And the album is about the old shamans where people are seeking help and answers. So.
Right, totally. Now, Kreigel, one of my favorite, you know, vocalists, is on playing flutes on the Four Wise Men and even Death of a King, and then we have Martin Lopez playing, you know, percussions on even Death of a King and Aaliyah Stanbridge. So I was just wondering that, you know, there are some guest vocals, there's percussion, and then there's flutes. What made you guys think about having guests on this album, and which is already too diverse? So was it more like tend to experiment with your sound?
Some of the guest musicians, like Aaliyah's voice, her vocals, and Kreegel's flutes, they were ideas that Jens got during the recording process. So we didn't knew Kreegel before. We played on shared some same festivals with his band, but never actually met. So Jens sent him a mail and asked if he's interested and available to record some flutes for the album, and yeah, he was really interested, and luckily he got some time to do it. And same thing went with Aaliyah. She lives quite near. Actually, she lives in Örebro as well, same town where Jens lives. So she was pretty. It was an easy task to ask her to come over and sing.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, and Martin, he's, you know, we've been knowing each other since we toured in States with Opeth, like years and years back. So Niklas, our bass player, he's kept contact with Martin. So yeah, so now that we went to record the drums to Stockholm, Niklas sent a mail to
Martin.
Martin, that if he's available and if he wants to come to do some percussion. And yeah,
that's awesome. Fantastic. Now, for you as a guitar player, I mean, you've seen it all. You've been part of the albums. You've, grown and developed and evolved as one of the best, guitarists coming out of Finland. So, how was your contribution on the sound, on the ever-changing evolution of the band?
Um, for the sound, I don't know. It's my way to play. Usually, when how I proceed with the songs, I try to do some of the lead stuff. My philosophy is that the leads and solos, they have to be little songs inside the song. So
Right.
you tell a little story there with the leads, and on many of the songs, we don't have that much guitar solos, because if they really don't serve or they don't need solos, then I'm going to drop them off because it's stupid to just wank with your guitar and play like nonsense arpeggios if you don't have anything to tell. I think the guitar solos have to be like little stories and little songs
Absolutely.
inside the song. So that's my relationship to
The sound.
the sound and solos. Yeah, and otherwise I love the analog sounds, and that's what I loved with working with Jens, because all the effects and all the delays we did with from analog pedals.
Hmm.
And even though he is very strict with everything, with the sounds and with timing and everything, I was so happy that he wants to make all the guitar sounds as natural as possible.
That's amazing. It actually takes me back to the time when I had a chat with Jans when Creator's last album Phantom Antichrist came out, and I
Yeah.
was just having a chat with him about Sweden, in a sense, like, because Örebro is, I think, one of the very few coldest places in at least the Scandinavian area, which is like crazy there. And I get to ask him this question as to how do people survive that? And his answer was very simple. He told me that there are only two things people can do in Sweden, or let's say Örebro in general. Number one, either is to make music. Number two is to have sex. So it's, yeah, and it's crazy because this guy, I mean, what can I say? The moment I saw him fiddling with the sound of Creator, I was damn sure, because he's worked with the Liberty, he's worked with you guys. I mean, it's you know what to expect, and you guys, great musicians on the album. I mean, it's fantastic. I got to see you guys for the Tales from the Thousand Lakes anniversary. I'm just
Okay.
wondering, can we expect the same treatment for Elegy in 2016?
Probably that's not impossible idea. I don't know if what's going to happen with the new album and how long we're going to tour with that and what's going to happen after that. But doing same kind of thing with LSU is not an impossible idea. So we'll see. Everything is basically possible with this band. So but that's something what we discussed already. So would be
Right.
nice to do if we get some time. We'll see.
Totally. Now, Amorphis has been one of the primary reasons that you guys have influenced the Finnish metal bands. I mean, many people say this, but I've sensed it over the period of last almost 1.5 decade that you guys are responsible for all these bands getting influenced and coming out of Finland. So for you being like the main guy, how do you feel about this? I mean, of course, it is a pride and a proud feeling, but being like one of the main band in Finland to actually just give birth to like tons of band coming out of Finland.
Hmm. Um, it's a great honor, I guess that's the best feedback what you can get as a musician. If the fellow musician comes and says that your music has been a huge influence for him or his band, it feels great, and I think that is probably the best feedback what you can get. Um, but we've been around quite a long time,
Hmm.
almost 25 years.
Yeah.
So that is already a quite long career, and so of course you collect some respect for that already, and because there are bands which celebrate their 10th anniversary at the moment and doing really good, and and we are sort of pioneers on what comes to Finnish metal music, alongside with Stratovarius and Sentenced. So yeah, it's great, if people respect that and keep us as an influential band. So
absolutely, that's really great. Now, just wondering if you guys have. I know you have a touring plan with Arch Enemy and Nightwish coming up later this year in Europe, and I'll be catching you guys at Berlin in December.
Okay, great.
That's for sure. I'm just wondering, because I'm here sitting in India, has it ever been an option or any sort of, let's say, package coming from Indian promoters to you guys to tour, and has it ever happened?
There's been some requests, but they never escalated into actual
plan.
Yeah, that India is a place we would love to come over. It would be so amazing. So I don't know how many metal bands comes over there, but that would be amazing thing. Hopefully, at someday it would happen.
I gotta tell you, there are hardly bands. For the period of last 3 years, it's been a barrage of bands coming here, and not just for one show, but actually they come here almost every year. And it's been great. I mean, from Finland itself, we have Children of Bodom who have come here. And I think many of the European bands have already been here. So probably all I can do is to probably wait for you to play, because you have an amazing fan base here in India.
Okay, that is great to hear. That is amazing.
Fantastic. Now, Esa, before we conclude, how about you define the sound of Under the Red Cloud in just one sentence?
It's very heavy, highly melodic, dynamic Amorphis album.
Wow, till date, right?
Yes.
Fantastic, folks. The new album Under the Red Cloud coming out September 1st week via Nuclear Blast. Pre-order it, get it right away, and catch them on tour with Nightwish and Arch Enemy. Esa, thank you very much for doing this interview. It's been
no problem. Thank you very much. Thank you.